Hey guys, welcome back to My Hero Academia, the strongest hero. The time has come to put forth my tier list for PvP. This is going to be a PvP tier list. As I understand it, I didn't push too hard in PvE, but when Global comes, I think just say get Endeavor and you're pretty much set for PvE, if that's what you're wondering. But this is going to be the PvP tier list. And before we do get into it though, we did just reach 25,000 subscribers on the channel, which I am so grateful for. So we did do a giveaway on a video for the other game that I'm playing, but we'll do one here as well. So this is going to be a $100 giveaway video. Basically just be subscribed and leave a comment to enter the draw. Don't spam because multiple comments won't give multiple entries. I'll have all the legally stuff in the description. And that's pretty much it. I'll do about a week from now, I'll do a community post with the giveaway winner. And that's why you got to be subscribed so you can see the community post. No requirement to like the video or anything like that, but if you do, it would be appreciated. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off with this tier list, a couple disclaimers. I have not played through thoroughly with Ojiro and I've only ever fought one of him in my life. The other thing is I'm not going to include All Might or Shigaraki on this list because those guys I don't believe will be a global, neither will Stain. So we're basing this off of the heroes that were in at the CBT, which included Endeavor and Aizawa. But yeah, Ojiro, haven't played too much. These guys I won't put in the list because those guys actually change the list. When those guys come into the game, it will actually improve the way that Kirishima ranks because Kirishima kind of sucks against Aizawa, and with an Aizawa meta, he's going to struggle a little bit more, but then he gets more valuable when these guys come into the game. The other one that I haven't tested thoroughly, I've done a little bit of testing with Mineta, but not too much, and I haven't thoroughly tested Todoroki. So those are all the disclaimers out of the way, so let's get into the actual list and see what we come up with. We'll put these guys at the bottom. So kicking it off, I think we'll just start with the Deku. Now, Deku is going to go straight to A tier. Fantastic for engaging on your enemies. Absolutely amazing. It's just like, he's like going to be a staple of most teams. Yes, Aizawa's going to be in there, so he's going to sort of steal some Deku positions in teams in PvP, but Deku, absolutely fantastic. The cool thing about him for engaging is that he's obviously got his Q ability where he can engage. If he misses it, he can do a quick W tap to do the finger smash and then try and do his Q again, and then he can just get out if he has to. He's really reliable for trying to engage, and the range on it is amazing, and he's very easy to play, which actually adds to it. Plus, he's got his massive combo that only a couple things can roll out of his combo, where he does the uppercut, the kicks in the air, then the full charged finger smash. Tokoyami and Stain are the two that I know of that can actually roll out of the full Deku combo because of their perfect dodge timing. But that's it. Deku, absolutely amazing. Keep in mind, SS tier, I'm just going to fill that in now. That's going to be Aizawa. He's in a tier of his own. So A tier is actually really strong. Aizawa's just... the dude needs to be balanced, in my opinion. I think a nice balance for him would be that his caltrops can still do damage, but they don't actually flinch the enemies, because when you've got a passive where you're invulnerable every 3 seconds, and then you've also got these things that you put on the ground that flinch the enemy, it's just so hard to engage on the guy. And he attacks are so quick. He's just, you'll see when you get into it, there's very few characters that have a fun time engaging on him, and he'll literally destroy your whole team a few times. I guarantee it'll happen to everyone where your whole team gets beaten by an Aizawa and he doesn't lose any health. Like, he's crazy. And then when you get to good players, they know when to swap him out when he's a bit vulnerable, and then he's just completely dominant. So that's Aizawa. Next up, Kaminari. I'm putting Kaminari in C. I know some people rate him higher. I think for PvP early on, when it's a bit cheesy, like, yes, people will use him and it'll be decent. The problem with him is, with Aizawa and Deku in the game, this guy, his basic attacks don't flinch until the 4th one in. So you can basically just run up to him, take a little bit of damage and engage. The other thing you can do is, pretty much when he's casting anything, he's very vulnerable. So if he's casting anything, you just swap to a Deku, you can engage on him completely free. Now, he does have his little orb shield, and you might just have to run around because, yes, he can kite, but you can also kite him so that he can't hit you. And you just wait for his orb shield to fade, and then you can just like swap into a Deku, engage on him, and then he's dead. But he can be decent as a pivot because you can swap into him. You can use his AoEs, his two AoEs, his W and his, is it E and his Q, I think it is. And then, you can pop his W and then run. But he just has a really hard time. Sometimes if you don't have a unit on your team that can engage from a distance, then you'll find him hard. But pretty much when you build a balanced team, you always have something that can engage. And he pretty much falls off because of that reason. Next up, we have Mineta. Now, I'm putting Mineta in B. I haven't tested, like I said earlier, I haven't tested him completely thoroughly, but he's actually kind of nice. The thing that I do like about Mineta is when he goes into his first-person shooter mode, you can't actually flinch him in PvP, which is really cool. He's got his little bouncy thing. He's got his balls that he puts out, which have that added effect of slowing enemies and then snaring them as well. So I actually think Mineta could be really decent, and I'm wanting to put more time into PvP with him on Global just to get a good feel for him, because I think he could actually do really decent for a player that's good at the game and has a lot of playtime with him. But for now, I'm just leaving him at B. Ojiro, I'm putting him in C because the fact that I've played so much on the Taiwanese version of the game and I've only ever fought against him once and he did nothing, that's pretty much why he's sitting there. If it turns out he's a beast and I don't know why, I will adjust the list, obviously, because we'll keep updating this list, especially as new units come in, because it really just changed the meta. But Ojiro, I fought one in all of my games ever, and he didn't really do anything. So that's why he's down there. Next up, we are going to go into Kirishima. Now, Kirishima is A. Honestly, if Aizawa wasn't in the game, I'd be tempted to put him up to the S tier. Basically, if Aizawa wasn't in the game, SS tier wouldn't exist, and he'd be in the top tier. But because Aizawa was in the game for the closed beta, he's going to sit in A just because he's really not that great against Aizawa. But like I said, once you get All Might, Shigaraki, and Stain into the game, he actually gets a big buff because you see those units more, and he's actually pretty strong against them. So Kirishima, a fantastic unit that's going to swap between top tiers depending on the meta. Next one, we do have Endeavor because he was in there for people to get. He's going to go into S tier. Absolutely beast of a unit. He's got this ability where he charges up, he can't be flinched, and he drags you in, and then he's going to hit you. He gets his spear out, and he just does massive damage, has a good bit of range on him as well. So yeah, Endeavor, just an absolute beast in PvP. One of those real annoying units to fight against. Not as annoying as Aizawa. Next up, Bakugo. I'm putting Bakugo in B tier. I know a lot of people rate him horribly, but I've been playing a lot more with Bakugo, and I'm still bad at him. But when a good player uses Bakugo, he's actually a beast. And it wouldn't surprise me if, as Global goes on and more people play him and get good at him, you'll see him climb up the tier list. His attacks are actually really quick. He's one where he goes into the air and spins. It's not like Tokoyami's ability, where Tokoyami's in that ball and he can actually get knocked out of it by an Aizawa, Finger Smash, and a few other things. But because he's in the air, he can't get interrupted from it. So even if you swap and engage with his swirly thing in the air, you can't get hit, but that normally the enemies run under you and you can flinch them from that. The problem with Bakugo is his comboing is incredibly hard to time. So his Q ability, after you use any of your other two abilities, he unlocks the ability to do those little flash bombs. You've got to land them at the perfect second to be able to keep chaining them. So most times in PvP, you'll land one and then miss the next one, and then they drop and then they get immune. But a good player, I've fought against good players who chain me for 4 to 5 blasts in the air and then re-comboed, and they can basically 100 to 0 you. But it's a really hard thing to do. The best I've been able to do with Bakugo is a 3-hit combo on that ability. He is really, really, really hard to time and hard to play. And I think that's why a lot of people think he's absolutely horrible. But like I said, if you get godly at Bakugo, I honestly think he could be better than some of the A tier units once you get to that level of play. But for now, he's sitting in B because he is incredibly hard to play. Next up, Tokoyami. He goes to S tier. Now, Tokoyami, I feel like as the game goes on and people get better, I feel like he will drop. Just because he's very slow and easy to engage on. Now, if you don't have something that can engage on him well, he is a bit awkward. But I think early on in the meta, he's just going to dominate because he is very easy to play and very powerful, and his re-engage ability with his Q, where you can get the enemy to a knockdown state, and then as they're about to get up, you just drop your Q, and unless they roll perfectly out of it, they get re-engaged, and you can basically just 100-0 them like that. I think he's going to be dominant, but like I said, once people get better at the game and get more used to the play style of every character, I think he will drop off a bit, because as soon as he does any ability, you can pretty much swap the Deku and engage on him. He's so slow. Obviously not his Q, because his Q is going to get you into the spiral. But his other abilities, his basic attack, his W and his E are such slow animations. You can just see him do any of them and if you dodge out, you swap to a Deku or anything else with an engage, and you're straight on top of him, and you've got him comboed. Now, the other good thing about him that I did mention, and this is the other reason why he's so high on this early tier list, is because there will be a lot of Dekus in the game, and the fact that he's one of the characters that can roll out of a full Deku combo is huge. So he's really solid, and that is where he's going to sit. Next up, Uraraka. Uraraka goes into A tier for me. Once again, she's another one of those units with the engage ability where she can put the gravity field out where it just drops rocks down. So similar to Tokoyami, the enemy's down, you just basically wait till they're about to get up, you drop that, and then they get up, and if they don't roll out of it, they just get re-engaged, and away you go. She's also got the awesome cheese factor where if they don't have something that can counter you, you can float up to the air and just basic attack. But you've got to be careful. There's a lot of units that can counter that. Other Urarakas can counter it. You got Tokoyami, you got Bakugo, you've got Kaminari can counter it. I think Todoroki can. And I think that's about it. And then things like Kirishima you can swap to and then put your mitigation up. Froppy you can swap to and invisible. But if you get against an enemy who doesn't have a unit that can knock her down, she can just float up and be just really annoying. So Uraraka, really good in a few aspects of the game. Next up, Froppy. I'm putting Froppy in A tier as well. I think Froppy's one that, similar to Bakugo, you've got to be really good at playing the unit. It's a very complex playstyle to use Froppy. She's got the ability where when you dodge and then press an ability, it'll change the way her abilities function. She's got the poisons that stack and then will stun the enemy. The camouflage, obviously, really good for engaging and also getting away. She's got a lot of good niche effects. But like I said, you won't see too many Froppies because she takes a lot of investment and time played to actually get good at her. So often if you fight against her at global launch, you'll probably think she's bad if players aren't fantastic at playing her. Next up, we have Momo. Momo goes straight into the S tier for me. I've been very vocal about the fact I'm re-rolling for her instead of Tokoyami, because one, Tokoyami, you can, if the pack's there to buy him, yes, but also Momo is pretty much my one solid answer for Aizawa at the moment, aside from another Aizawa. And that's pretty much why she gets there. She can actually engage on Aizawa. She's got her turrets, which are a huge factor. Like, the turrets are amazing. If you get them out, it gives you that extra chance to flinch your enemy. Even if they engage on you, you can flinch them with the turrets. They've got range on them so they can hit the enemies. But once you start rolling with her, and if you can keep rolling turrets out, it's fantastic. Good players will make you swap out of Momo so that you can't keep the momentum running. But the turrets are amazing. The versatility with her different weapons is huge. She also has a re-engage possibility, kind of like Tokoyami, whose isn't as reliable, but you can get enemies into a knockdown state. You can dodge backwards and then use her missiles, and as they're starting to get up, and then they can get re-engaged by the missiles, and then you can go into a full double combo like that, which is huge. She's got her shield, which has really good defense and has really good counter ability to other characters' basic attacks as well. Her spear has really good range, and her basic attack with the spear is great as a dodge as well as an attack. It has good lunge range and fast speed, but it also takes her away quickly if they're trying to lunge behind her. And then her scythe has really good attack speed. In case you're fighting against something with a really high attack speed, something like a Stain later on, it becomes more relevant. For now, I think the spear is the best way to play her, and then swap to the shield against certain enemies, but that's a bit more in depth. But Momo, an absolute savage in the game. Next up, we have Iida. Now, Iida, unfortunately, I hate putting things down the bottom and just going with the popular opinion of something being trash, but Iida is bad. Iida is bad. The problem is, even with perfect ping, I don't think he's going to be good when you can aim his abilities. The problem is that all his abilities besides his basic attack have like a 1 second wait time. Like, he does like a crouch and then moves, and it's like you can just engage on him the whole if he does hit you, he can combo you really hard. He can combo you incredibly hard, but like he has such a tough time doing any abilities. Like even if you try and combo, even if you like flinch them with a basic attack and then you try and activate one of his abilities, like the enemy comes out and can dodge before the ability actually goes off. It's just so slow. If they actually made him fast like he's meant to be and like fast acting without the charge time on his abilities, he'd actually be incredibly good. But the charge time from when you press the button to when he actually does the ability, he's just wide open to get destroyed. So that's why he's down there. Todoroki, I'm going to put Todoroki up. Like, I feel like he's between B and C. I don't know where I want to put him because once again, he's a unit that I haven't tested thoroughly. And I honestly don't know too much about it. I haven't pulled him, so I'm putting him B tentatively. Like I said, haven't tested enough to solidly give him a place, but I think between B and C is where he will fall. When I fight against Todoroki's, I just find like, yes, he's got good range on his abilities, but I feel like every time he uses an ability, he sort of leaves himself wide open to get counterattacked, and that's what I don't really like about him. But he can combo pretty hard as well, and he's got the freezes and stuff like that if he does get rolling. But like I said, he's a bit slow and easy to counterattack without any fully reliable re-engage ability and stuff like that. So I'm going to put him in B out of respect to him for the fact that I haven't tested him thoroughly, and that is pretty much that. And for those wondering, if All Might, like I said, if All Might, Stain, and what's his face, Shigaraki were in the game, they'd go straight into that SS tier. Like they'd go into like a sub tier between SS and S sort of thing. They're all right up there, and Endeavor will eventually creep up into that as well. I think it just depends who comes first. So these guys are all top tier units, in my opinion, from fighting against them anyway. Really fantastic units, but like I said, I've tried to balance this for the meta, but like I said, if they go in, something like Kirishima would go up because he's better against them than he is against Aizawa, and then you start seeing more of these guys, even though Aizawa is still a thing. But that is going to be my tier list for My Hero Academia, the strongest hero. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really happy with those positionings when I look at it like this. Like I said, things will shift and I will update the tier list as we go. But anyway, guys, once again, thanks for the 25,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate the support. Sorry, can't even speak. I really do appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.